Napster and the music industry, ride-sharing apps and local taxi cartels, Bitcoin and national fiat currencies, and the blockchain and the big banks. The peer-to-peer sharing economy is literally revolutionary, and it can and will demolish these old power structures. And we can thank Napster for that. Yes, I know I'm talking about Napster, but this is the original peer-to-peer application that turned the music industry on its head. Now, I know peer-to-peer systems existed before Napster, but considering how popular it made the computing and networking system, we can start from there. Napster is the godfather of sharing apps like Airbnb and Uber. But other than the technology, there's nothing new about the principles behind a peer-to-peer based sharing economy. Peer-to-peer is basically just an online technology allowing people to transfer data from one person to another via the internet. And that data can literally be anything from music to money, basically anything. Trade is basic to human life, and what peer-to-peer does is it bypasses state infrastructure. Technology offers a way out of the crony capitalism and the over-regulation, and now we have the blockchain, a literal peer-to-peer accounting ledger. The ramifications are unprecedented and truly revolutionary. Decentralization is the future. Now, cryptocurrencies, for example, don't just challenge national fiat currencies, they challenge the banks and other financial institutions. And smart contracts are changing the landscape for guarantors and rating agencies and third-party middlemen. So smart contracts are self-executing contracts written into the lines of the code. And the contractual code and the agreement that it represents exists across a distributed, decentralized blockchain network. Now, this is changing the game for both borrowers and lenders of unsecured loans. Traditionally, unsecured loans are risky to lend and they're expensive to borrow. And since they aren't secured by any assets, the lender takes on more risk and thus charges a higher interest rate. Also, getting an unsecured loan meant going to a bank or going to a loan shark. But companies like Fintrux are disrupting the traditional routes, and they're even breaking the mold on traditional peer-to-peer platform lenders. Financing on the Fintrux network is regulated by millions of smart contracts, which document legal agreements. It automates administration, eliminating human error and risk. By cascading levels of credit enhancements, the Fintrux network counteracts the lender's credit risk, and in case of default, provides cascading levels of insurance to cover the losses. Now, marketplace lending has been around for a long time, but companies like Fintrux are now using modern technology to disrupt the big banks, and I love it. I think you'll find their white paper to be very attractive, so I'd encourage you to check it out. Links are located in the description below. And I'm actually here right now at the Robocoder office in Vancouver, which is the technology behind Fintrux, a Singapore-based blockchain peer-to-peer lending ecosystem. And just 2 days ago, the founders gave a talk here in Vancouver, but that video is not going to be out for another couple of weeks, so here is a sneak preview of that talk from the founders of Fintrux.
In my 30-year career, I have carried many titles and played many roles. I've been an analyst, a manager, a programmer, a consultant, president, and CEO. But these are just some of the many hats we wear when we're trying to pursue our goals in life. What I consider myself first and foremost is a passionate entrepreneur, an entrepreneur who has never forgotten the valuable lessons from all these years. When all I have is a dream and the will to make it happen. Starting a business is not easy. Not every startup business owner has a finance or business degree. Some got lucky and received venture fundings. Others are bootstrapping to make their dreams come true. I feel for them because I was there. I cannot recall how many times I had to sell assets or take on additional part-time jobs just to get over cash flow issues caused by unexpected events. Getting a loan from a bank is hard. They like to lend you money when you don't need it. There was a saying in the bank I used to work for, please lend cash on cash. Borrowing from loan shark is easy. However, it is not uncommon that they charge 5% interest per month. That's 80% compound interest a year. And they offer free repainting services to your home when they do not get the money that they think they deserve. It is quite common in the Asian countries. What if there's an app that I can trust? As long as I can demonstrate my ability to repay, I should get a loan 4 to 6 figures at a reasonable interest rate within minutes. I can also pick and choose the lender that has the best reputation backed by other borrowers, knowing that these ratings and reviews are real, immutable, and censorship resistant. That's how I envisioned a P2P lending platform with my son, Conrad. For the last 15 years, we have a proprietary securitization system that we license to accredited investors, banks, and insurance companies. All the due diligence, compliances, modeling, credit decisions are customized to the specification of each lender. We think the world needs an open ecosystem. We're inviting all specialized vendors in the space of identity, KYC, AML, credit scoring, credit modeling, and payments to partner with us. They provide their services directly to lenders. In turn, lenders lend directly to their borrowers, a true P2P lending ecosystem. Professor Mark David Sadell recently wrote, "Many Silicon Valley's biggest success stories are basically matching platforms. If you move that kind of matching systems to a blockchain, you no longer need Uber or Lyft to instill that trust. You have control over reputation reporting and the transfer of funds, so they become totally irrelevant. Some centralized services are too powerful and intrusive. They know where we are, what we do, and soon predict where we're going. Numerous times I walk into a restaurant, before I had a chance to figure out what to order, I would receive a message asking what I think of this restaurant. They turn around and sell that information to others. They are so powerful. We're utilizing the Ethereum blockchain to record every borrower contract, ratings, reviews, funding, payments, and more. It is secure, highly encrypted via one-way hashing, decentralized, data scattered and duplicated on hundreds of thousands of computing nodes called miners around the world. No single point of failure. Immutable. Once a smart contract is deployed, it cannot be modified or undone. Transparent. Both borrowers and lenders can inspect the smart contract source anytime. Here is a fun question. How many miners does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is 1 million. One to do the job, and the rest to verify that he did it. And that's blockchain. Our existing proprietary securitization system is charging our customer an upfront licensing fee, an annual maintenance fee, and an hourly customization fee. That is lucrative, but it does not scale. That model has to change. We need to learn from software as a service where they charge by transaction only. We now take it one step further. Not only do we charge only by transaction, fee collected is in token. I recall many years ago, I used to put loonies into arcade machines to play. Then Palladium came along and created tokens to operate their machines. The concept is the same on our ecosystem. Instead of dealing with so many different currencies around the world, we sell and collect our own utility token as toll fee for the use of our highway. Our existing system is one system, millions of lines of code, hundreds of thousands of customer contracts, and thousands of if-then-else statements. Very difficult to understand, even for the professionals. Our new system comprises of hundreds of thousands of small smart contracts. Each of them only has a few hundred lines of code, representing one and only one customer contract. Almost no if-then-else statements, unambiguous, even for someone who is not a programmer. Almost 2 decades ago, I invented a low-code development platform. Not knowing the best way to share that technology, I decided to prove it by building it out using my own resources. It is now available as open source on GitHub. Thanks to this low-code development platform, the securitization system we delivered 15 years ago has the mind of a veteran, with user interface and underlying technology of a 1-year-old, capable of running responsively on any mobile and desktop devices, including tablets. After 3 decades in building financing software, we're now turning this low-code development platform into no-code, capable of generating smart contracts without writing any code. How? Let's answer the question, why low-code in the first place? It is because we cannot anticipate the wide variety of business rules that can exist in different business domains. However, if we focus only on unsecured loan, where we already know all possible outcomes, point-and-click and easy-to-use user interfaces can be provided to generate well-tested smart contracts. By generating and deploy smart contracts only when a customer contract is requested, the latest technology and design can be embedded so participants on this ecosystem can stay current with ever-changing technology.
Credit enhancements are the secret ingredients making securitization successful in providing liquidity to the financing sector. Typically, this is only available for bulk funding, tranches that can be $10 million and up. We have found a way to make them available to unsecured loans of much smaller amounts, thereby making funding more accessible and secure. We apply 4 levels of cascading credit enhancements. The first is over-collateralization. 10% of every loan is held back to cover any unexpected defaults or losses. In the case that it is not enough, a third-party guarantor picks up the bill. We invite individuals to participate on our platform as a guarantor to the loans of their choice. Guarantors can choose their risk and compensation packages, and in the case of defaults, cover the losses. Cross-collateralization is our next step. The 10% held back from every loan is pooled together in a cross-collateralization pool, which functions as an insurance to cover all loans within the same class. If invested properly to match the obligations, this pool can offer a sufficient coverage ratio against the average loan loss. Lastly, our collateral reserve. 5% of our total token amount is reserved to be the final and last resort protection. This protection only kicks in when all other credit enhancers have failed. Since I can remember, I have always wanted to help people as a medical doctor one day, but during my university education, I often found myself wondering, how much benefit can I actually provide as a sole doctor? Helping people is my passion. My father has always taught me that there are multiple solutions to every problem, and I believe that to this day. Health may be impacted by many factors, but one of the most significant of all is having a lower standard of living. Malnutrition is associated with 54% of childhood deaths from diseases of poverty, and many more die because their families cannot afford a roof over their heads or reside in unclean living conditions. Ultimately, they are forced to borrow from the loan shark next door that charges them outrageous rates and is very violent in their collection. There are people out there with brilliant ideas and endless amounts of talent, but their communities and families will never benefit from these pioneers because the only way to achieve their goals is to commit to impossible loan terms or struggling with no financing at all. We need a better solution that can make people who are invisible to the existing system visible again. At the risk of sounding a bit cliche, we really do aspire to make the world a better place. Our vision is to create an all-inclusive lending ecosystem that is capable of providing financial liquidity to those who need it the most, those who can truly make a difference in their communities. This list includes small businesses, startups, aspiring entrepreneurs, and above all, individuals. Individuals who were just like my father once was. Individuals that have nothing more than a dream and the will to make it happen. Robert Kennedy said it best. There are those that look at things the way they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask, why not? Thank you.